Hi, Karen Gray Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. It looks like it's a great week for spring cleaning. We begin the week with the sun in the gate 40 to the earth in the gate 32. This gives us, through the 42, the energy for conclusion, meaning we're being invited by the energy of the sun until Thursday to really take stock of other things in our lives, circumstances, situations, experiences, old patterns and habits, things that we need to bring to completion, to a conclusion, in order for us to set the stage and be ready for our next cycle of growth and momentum. And we will get a cycle of momentum eventually, probably not till the second or third week of May, but we're setting the stage right now with everything that we do, including what we think, including the actions we take, including making sure that we're ready for what's next. So one of the biggest things that my clients talk to me a lot about is timing. And they want to know when, right? When am I going to get something to respond to? When am I going to get an invitation? When is this, that, or the other going to happen? And certainly right now, as we sit in this very strange time where there's so much unknown and we don't really know what's calling us forward externally at this point, it certainly can be frustrating to try to wait on timing. The thing about timing is this: as humans, we don't have a whole lot of control over timing. It's like the one thing we really can't control, which when we really think about where the pulse for timing lives in the human design chart, it really originates in the root center, the center for adrenal energy, which means that if we're pushing against right timing, we run the risk ultimately of using up all our adrenaline energy and ultimately burning ourselves out, which I believe is a big part of why we are where we're at right now. We're not going to follow the linear creation of the coronavirus, but when we think about collectively sort of this huge call that we've put out and kind of created for a pause, I think that so many of us have come together in this creative energy to consciously or unconsciously create kind of this cosmic collective pause because we needed to recalibrate. When I look at my research that I've done with my clients, and actually this is what my now delayed again TED Talk is about, and I look at the rate of burnout in our workforce and in our culture, 87% of the people that responded to the surveys that I've been doing with my research, 87% of people have responded to the question, are you burned out? Yes. 87%. Yes. That's an enormous amount of people who feel burned out. And I can't help but think that some of what burns us out, other than, of course, having work that isn't in alignment with our energy and other factors that keep us out of integrity with the truth of who you are, but part of what happens is we're pushing against right timing. And because we think that we can control timing, and when timing doesn't unfold the way we want with our brains, we get frustrated, or we get bitter, or we get angry, or we get disappointed, and then eventually we get burned out and we stop creating because we don't have the energy for creating because we've been pushing against right timing. Long explanation to really get to the core root of this. You can manage and influence timing. You can't control it, but you can influence timing when you know how. And if we look at the gates, the archetypal themes located on the root center, in particular the channels that connect the root to the spleen on the left, the sacral in the middle, and the solar plexus on the right, we see in those channels and in those gates a code for how to influence timing. And one of the codes that supports us in being able to influence time and timing is the gate 42, the gate of conclusion. It's connected to the 53, which is actually located on the root center. And that entire channel says you're going to influence time and timing when you get stuff that you've been putting off and procrastinating and resisting, when you get it done. So a lot of times we don't get the next opportunity. We don't even have the energy to set the stage for the next thing we want to create in our lives because we got all this stuff back here in our minds or in our basements or in our garages or our closets or wherever, things we know we need to handle to create space, metaphorically or maybe literally, in our lives. And if we don't bring those things to conclusion, whether it's filing taxes or having that really difficult conversation that you need to have with someone, or cleaning out your garage or your closet or your pantry or your refrigerator or whatever it is, when we don't do that, it occupies energy, because even though you're not consciously thinking about it, it's still back there. It's one of those reasons why you run to Netflix and eat Cheetos instead of doing what you need to do, because you want to deal with that thing back here, right? Or it's literally occupying space in our physical reality. And this week says, clean your inner and your outer house. Make room for yourself to be ready for the next thing. The gate 32, our earth energy, grounds us in endurance. It grounds us in the awareness that we're in it for the long haul. Life itself is a long haul. And that when we want something, when we want to create the manifestation of divine inspiration, we have to set the stage. And because we're here in human being form on a planet that's very third dimensional, we have to do the work to get ready. We have to build a website or write your book or get your signature talk done or have that difficult conversation so you can create space for what's next in your relationship. Whatever you need to do, the energy is available for you this week to use it to set the stage, to get that stuff out of the way. On Thursday, we shift energy, but we're still kind of hanging with the same theme, and we move to the sun in the gate 3, innovation, and the earth in the gate 50. And these are both energies that support us in transforming values and transforming the way in which we take care of things that we value and give us the energy for innovation. But we can innovate, and I know this is true from personal experience. You can't innovate if you're stumbling over junk in your basement, or you can't get through your garage because you've been shoving things out there for a year or two and pretending like they were gone when they weren't. And now you need to do something new, create something new, build a raised bed garden, right? Or set up grow lights for your seedlings for the spring. And now you don't have the room and you can't really create that indoor growing facility for your victory garden because there's stuff down there that needs to be handled, right? So both of these energies really are inviting us to explore, how do we need to set the stage? What do we need to get out of the way? What do we have that we need to take with us as we innovate? Where do we need to explore what is working and be in gratitude with it so that we can bring it with us as we evolve? Where do we need to make sure that as we set the stage, as we clear things up, are we making sure that we're taking care of the things that are valuable and precious to us? Are we not doing, this is my thing, my manifesting generator, cleaning energy just throws out the whole lot, right? Don't throw it all out. Look at it, carefully evaluate it, take the things that are really worth saving with you, because you're going to be using those things to build on as we innovate and move towards more momentum slowly. We're not going to come out of the chute, fires blaring and, our manes dragging, beautifully and passionately in the wind. When we come out of the chute, it's going to be kind of a slow and steady emergence. So the beautiful part about it being a slow and steady emergence is that it gives us the time to set the stage. I'm saying this a lot because I'm wanting you to really hear. We're in this kind of void state, and there's a blessing in the void. And the blessing in the void is that you get to engineer your course. You get to harness the creative forces of the universe when you get clear about what it is that you want and what it is that you value. So I really want to encourage you to use this time to get rid of all the old stuff, be done with it, literally, physically be done with it as best as you can. Get rid of old patterns, get rid of old habits, get rid of old circumstances that don't serve you, finish it up, and then explore from that open space that you just created. What do you want? What is it that you really want? Beyond, I just want things to go back to normal, because they're not going to go back to the way they were. And that's a good thing. They're going to be better. But we have to have some clarity about what we want. And then you got to start putting your energy there. You got to start imagining it and dreaming it and investigating it and exploring it and contemplating it and dreaming about it and drawing it and making sure that you're consciously using your creative power to create, to align with the energy, the frequency, the emotional willingness, the emotional, joyful, faithful anticipation that whatever it is you're intending is being pulled towards you by virtue of your focus, your alignment, and your creative desires. Last but not least, just real quick, this week we got some dodgy relationship energy, and relationship energy through the gate 19 in the root center is also a thing that influences timing. Things move faster for us when we have support, when our partnerships lift us up and encourage us. And certainly for us this week, there's the potential for our relationship energy, our intimacy sensors to be very sensitive this week. So be mindful that we're all really sensitive and aware this week, and our enthusiasm and our intensity might be too much, especially if we're in close quarters with each other, or if you've got one partner who's down in the basement chucking everything out, right? And the other one's going, no, right? So be mindful. Listen carefully to each other. Pause before you respond. Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand, then be understood. And remember that in the intensity of this experience, sometimes our sensors are pretty wide open. So operate with the mindfulness that we're all a little raw and a little tender, and be kind to each other as you negotiate better ways to increase your support and your love and your nourishing of each other. Have a great week. Be well. Stay well. I'll talk to you next week.